Carissa Broadbent and me, I'm like, take my card. You know what I mean? Take all my money. Hello book besties, it's Keira. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video, I decided to just talk all about my auto-buy authors. Pretty much my auto-buy / auto-read. Anything that they come out with that the plot is up my alley, I'm gonna buy it. Or if everybody's talking about it, I'm gonna buy it. I actually have a lot more than I thought to talk about. But you know what? The more recommendations, the better. If you have a similar reading taste to me and you don't read some of these authors, here's your sign. Make sure to follow all my socials down below, along with my Goodreads, Amazon wishlist. All of that's down there. Like, comment, and subscribe for more videos by me. And let's just get right into it. First stack I have right here, I'm just going to talk quickly about Lauren Asher, who with the Dreamland Billionaire series. I have no interest in reading her F1 series, whatever that one's called. Anything after this series, like the new series she's coming out with. The first book I think is Love Redesigned. I pre-ordered it because in this series, I just loved Lauren Asher's writing style. It was like spicy, it was fun, fast-paced. Overall, I think I really like her writing style, and I'm very excited about this new series that she's coming out with that takes place in the town that Final Offer took place in. She's just my auto-buy author for like whatever new releases that she has coming out, not so much her backlist. Next up, another auto-buy author I have is Anna Huang, who wrote the Twisted series. And if you don't know me, Twisted Games is one of my favorite books of all time. Like, I would die for this book. It's romance, but it's got some twisted topics and crazy stuff going on that I'm just like, oh, I thought we were getting like a little cutesy, swoon-worthy romance. No. So good. I love Anna Huang's writing style. After finishing this series, she's coming out with the Kings of Sin series. I have the first two books. I think King of Greed comes out either the end of this month or in November at some point. Haven't started it yet, but obviously I have the first two. I'm ready to read it when I want to pick it up. I've heard pretty good things about this series so far. I don't know if it will ever be what the Twisted series was, but we will have to see. I just want like a crazy kind of romance, a little bit twisted. If I want a good time, I will definitely pick up this series. Yes, that is my second auto-buy author. Next up, I only have 2 books by this author, but I've read the other ones. I just don't have physical copies of them. I read them last year, kind of at the beginning of me like getting back into my reading era. I've been raving about this author for the past year, and I'm so glad that both of these books caught people's attention, and now they're reading these books, but also her backlist, and that's Abby Jimenez. I read the Friendzone series last year. Her writing and her books are so good, and if I liked the older releases, I already know I'm gonna love these whenever I get to them, because like, I just love her. They're emotional, but they're funny, they're easy to get through. Whenever I get to these, I'm so excited. She deserves it. She deserves it so hard because I have been raving about her for the past year. Definitely read these. Read them. If you want to read these 2 first and then read her backlist, do that. I love her and her books. So, about this author, she recently started writing fantasy, but she also has a bunch of just regular romance books, and none of them really call out to me. So when I say auto-buy author, I'm gonna probably just read either the series or more fantasy that she comes out with. Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. Whatever fantasy Rebecca Yarros comes out with, I'm gonna be reading it. Love Rebecca Yarros' writing in this book. So fast-paced, and she did the world building well. It's not too much. Technically, it's auto-buy for fantasy, not like overall the author, but we'll see. This author is, I wouldn't say like a hit or miss for me, but I will probably read her entire backlist because a few of her books are like my favorite books of all time. Books are just so easy to get through. They're short, they're emotional, they grab you, just like everything I think I love. And I want something that's real quick, and that's Devney Perry. I've read Duology, the Mason Jar Duology. I think this was like my first 2 books. I don't know if I read Indigo Ridge and then read Letter Smalley, but these, oh my god. I want to get into Devney Perry. I definitely recommend starting with this duology because it's so beautifully written. Love, I think, The Birthday List the most. It's just so good. She's slowly but surely coming out with the Eden books, which I'm sure you've heard of the Eden series. Juniper Hill, one of my favorite books of all time. And I've seen lots of people say that Devney Perry kind of just writes the same plot over and over again. And it's kind of true, like reading this Eden series. But like sometimes I just need a small town romance, you know what I mean? So I definitely turn to her for just quick small town romance books. After I finish this series, I'm definitely gonna read her backlist. I think she has like 2 other series. I definitely be buying it because I love Devney Perry and her writing and her small town romances. So if you just want small town, easy, quick, with a little bit of mystery, cool subplots, read Miss Devney Perry. Anything that Carissa Broadbent writes, I will read. I've only read Serpent and the Wings of Night, but I have obviously the second book in this series. I think she's coming out with more interconnected books in this series, and then she has a Daughter of No World series. I will read all of them because I loved the writing style in this book, the pacing, the fantasy aspect, world building wasn't too bad. Like I said, she has that Daughter No World series, which I also have on my TBR. I just know reading this book and the writing style, how much I loved it, and it was so easy to get through, that I'm gonna buy everything that she writes. Want some fantasy, I'll definitely turn back to Miss Carissa Broadbent, and hopefully I like this and I'll buy Daughter of No World series and read that. This next author, pretty much everybody knows about. It's Ali Hazelwood. I don't have Love in the Brain because I didn't like it. Am I like lying when I'm saying auto by author if I don't have all this author's books because I didn't like all of them? You know what? I started with obviously The Love Hypothesis, which I'm sure everybody and their mom has read. And then I read Love Theoretically. Loved both of them. I love her STEM books. I don't care if they're all the same. I will read them every single time. I know she's coming out with a YA romance, which I will definitely pick up. I think she has another STEM book coming out next year. I love her writing. They're just a good time. That's when I turned to Miss Ali Hazelwood because it's so easy to read. So I'm excited for anything that she comes out with. If you're just getting to reading, I definitely recommend reading The Love Hypothesis. Next up is an author who kind of has my heart because it was kind of like my first fantasy dystopian author that I've ever read from. It's Tahereh Mafi. If you never heard of Tahereh Mafi, she is the infamous writer of the Shatter Me series. I think my favorite book is Defy Me or Restore Me. One of these 2 I gave a 5 stars. The rest of them, I think 3 and up. An easy series to get through. I love Tahereh Mafi's writing. It's different than any other author I've ever read from. It's kind of like poetic. They're YA books, so they're super easy to get through. The font, excuse me. The font is huge, fast-paced. Overall, really good series. And I'm definitely glad that I read it because it is worth the hype. So definitely read past the first book, people. You can't just read the first one. I was so confused reading the first book. And then I just kept going. And it just got better. Coming out with this series, I don't know what it's called. It's this series, the This Woven Kingdom series. I think there's only 2 books out right now. I haven't read this one yet. But when I'm in the mood for some Tahereh Mafi, I feel like this would be good for like the winter time, weirdly. Can't wait to read these as they come out. Next up is another author that I've read a lot of her books other than these ones right now. I found that any other books that this author writes I don't love as much as her hockey romances. It's Elle Kennedy. I've read the entire Off-Campus series and then the first book in the Briarview series. I think going forward I will only buy her hockey romance books that she comes out with because I tried reading the Avalon Bay, I think it's called, series, like her summary romance books, and I just didn't like them. The Graham Effect is coming out, I think, the end of this month. I picked it up after I finish these 3 books, but nothing beats her hockey romance books. Nothing beats them. Have I read things that are a lot better written? It's like they're not the most groundbreaking love stories except for The Deal. They're just a fun time and I will eat them up every single time. Want a hockey romance series just to get into it? I definitely recommend the Off-Campus series. Next up is like a newer author. It's kind of a new author for everybody. Her cowboy romance series has blown up this year for a good reason. It's Miss Elsie Silver. I know. Look at how many books. Look at these beautifully covered books that I have, all by Elsie Silver. Golden Rush series, I believe it's called. I love her writing so much. It's just so easy. I fly through her books. I love the vibes. I love the romances. Love the writing. A few days ago, I think Elsie Silver announced that whatever town that Jasper and Sloane stayed at is coming out with another cowboy romance series based on wherever they were in Powerless, and I am so excited. Y'all don't even know. She's probably one of my favorite romance authors of all time because I just, like I said, love her books. All right, last two, other than probably like Elsie Silver, these authors' biggest fan, I have a humongous stack for both of them. All right, I'm a new girly to fantasy. I only started reading it, I think, at the beginning of this year. It all started pretty much with this author. So obviously, I'm gonna buy every single thing that she comes out with. It's Miss Sarah J. Maas. So I've only read the first three in the ACOTAR series because I'm saving Court of Frost and Starlight for the winter time because it's winter-y. It makes sense. And then I'll read Court of Silver Flames after it. But yeah, these, I love her fantasy so much. Do you know what that means? To buy the entire Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas. Look at all these gosh darn books that I have to read. I have read, though, 3 in this series. Assassin's Blade, Throne of Glass, and Crown of Midnight. And I'm eating them up every time. As I'm slowly but surely getting through this series, I bought Crescent City. Wouldn't it probably be like an entire year before I possibly get to the Crescent City series? Yes, but I have them because I cannot help myself. I know I was gonna buy them eventually. I'm probably gonna love them. These are for like probably a year from now, Keira, but you will be glad I bought them. Isn't it crazy that I've read 6 of Sarah J. Maas's books and I own a total of like 15 books of hers? No, I think there's no problem with that. And last up, I think this is the author that I own the most books out of, as I should, because I love Lucy Score. I have this many Lucy Score books. Yeah, Lucy Score is one of my favorite authors of all time. As the Knock 'Em Out series has come to an end, I'm going to start reading her backlist. And I have many Lucy Score books on my TBR. So when I want her writing, which is often, I have many to choose from. Christmas time, I'm gonna read The Christmas Fix. This just came out in this new cover. We'll be reading it during the Christmas time. When I want a fixer-upper kind of, you know, hot handyman book, I'm gonna read it. I have 2 more Christmas books, or 2 more like wintry Christmas books that I will be picking up obviously this winter. Then this book I want to read next month because the fall vibes, amazing. I have this series, I don't know what it's called, but Be Mine, Pretend You're Mine, Protecting What's Mine. And then lastly, I think this is like a wintry book, so I will read this in the winter. But I have so many Lucy Score books that I will be reading in the near future. Those are like most of my auto-buy authors. I left a few of them out because there's a lot here. I've been talking for like 45 minutes. I hope you got some new authors that you want to try if you have a similar reading taste to me, or maybe just other books by your favorite authors that you didn't even know were a thing. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I have to put all of these books back. I love all these authors, so I will have a very fun time doing it. I think next week is already my October wrap-up because the way the month laid out, I think I'm posting it maybe like a week before the month ends, but definitely stay tuned for that. Make sure to follow all my socials down below, along with my Goodreads, Amazon wish list. Everything like that is linked down below. Like, comment, and subscribe if you want to stick around for more videos by me, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye!